In this video, I'm going to go quickly, and I'm not going to write out step by step exactly what I'm doing. So if you feel like watching me, you might think what on earth did you get that from? If I'm going very quickly and not writing it out step by step, head on over to my other video where I do it slower and write out exactly what I'm doing to help you follow it along better. But this is a quick version. Okay, let's see question 8. If a over b is equal to 2, what is the value of 4b over a? Now you might try to solve this by solving for a or b and plugging it into 4b over a or something. But I'm going to show you the easiest way to do a problem like this. A over b is equal to 2. Let's choose two numbers, one for a and one for b, that makes this true. For example, let's say I said a was equal to 2, b is equal to 1. 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2, so that works. What is the value of 4b over a? Well, we chose what b and a were, so let's plug them in. 4 times b is 4 times 1, a is 2. 4 times 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. Final answer is 2. These questions take 10 seconds, as long as you know how to do it correctly. Just plug in random numbers, see what works. All right, question 9. 3x plus 4y is equal to negative 23, and 2y minus x equals negative 19. So you could solve this like a system of equations, or you can plug in a, b, c, and d. One of these choices is going to work in both of the equations. That's going to be your correct solution for the system of equations. So you can try a, c, and d yourself and see that they don't work. But you see that when you plug in b, which is 3, negative 8, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. Negative 32 plus a 9 is going to equal negative 23. That works. 3, negative 8, and now just because it works in one, by the way, doesn't mean that it works for both. So you have to plug it in both. 2y minus x equals negative 19. 2y is negative 16 minus x. Negative 16 minus 3 equals 19. That works. That's why b is going to be your final answer. Y minus x equals 19. Really, 2y minus x equals negative 19. My bad. All right, let's move on to question 14. Question 14 is similar to the first question we just did. If 3x minus y equals 12, what is the value of 8x over 2y? Again, I'm going to tell you, easiest thing to do, choose two numbers, see what works. Now, I would love to use a 0, because using a 0 usually makes the math easier. So let's say I said y was 0. If I said y was 0, that means x is going to equal 4, right? Because 4 times 3 is 12, minus 0 is still 12. So x is 4, y is 0. If x is 4, y is 0, when you plug it into 8x over 2y, you're going to get 8 to the 4th over 2 to the 0. Now you want to know what this is equal to. Is it 2 to the 12th, 4 to the 4th, 8 to the 2nd, or it cannot be determined? Now, 2 to the 0 is 1, because anything to the 0 is 1. So it's really just 8 to the 4th you're looking at. Now, I don't see 8 to the 4th here, but I know 8 to the 4th and 4 to the 4th aren't the same thing, because it's the same exponent but a different base. I know 8 to the 4th and 8 to the 2nd have to be different, because it's the same base and different exponent. Now, it's either A or D. Since you have 8 to the 4th, you should be able to see that probably is around 2 to the 12th. So you should feel good about that. And D, that you can't get a value. Well, I mean, we did get a value. But to show you exactly why it is 2 to the 12th, realize that 8 is the same thing as 2 to the 3rd. So 8 to the 4th is really 2 to the 3rd to the 4th. And when you have an exponent to another exponent, you multiply the exponent. So this is really 2 to the 12th. So that's why 8 to the 4th is equal to 2 to the 12th. Now, let's say instead you chose that you wanted x to be 0. Well, that means y would have to be negative 12. So 8 to the 0 is going to be 1 over 2 to the negative 12. Well, what you do when you have a negative exponent is you just flip it. So you're going to get 2 to the 12th. So either way, just plug in some numbers and you should be able to find 2 to the 12th. Let's go to question 8 in the maths and with calculator section. Number 8, for what value of n is the absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? Well, absolute value, remember, just makes it positive. Let's plug in a, b, c, and d and see. Well, if I plug in 0, I'm going to get 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Absolute value of that is 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, not 0. So 0 does not work. Plug in 1, you'll get 0 plus 1 is 1, not 0, so that doesn't work. If you plug in 2, again, you're going to get 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Again, not 0. So yeah, I only plugged in 3 choices, so I don't know for sure there's no value of n, but one of these 4 choices, A, B, C, or D, has to be true. If it's not A, it's not B, it's not C, then it's going to be D. Realize, though, that you didn't even have to plug in A, B, C, or D here, because you could just use logic. The absolute value of anything is going to be positive, or at the very least 0. It's either 0 or positive. Any number that's 0 or positive plus 1 is never going to equal 0. You need the absolute value thing to be negative 1, but absolute value is never negative 1. So by using logic also, you can see that there's no value of n that works. Let's move on to question 11. Question 11. Which of the following numbers is not a solution of the inequality 3x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 4x minus 3? So realize that the keyword here is not, meaning when you plug in your choices, if you don't want to solve it the normal way of solving an equation, 3 of them are going to make it true. One of them is going to make it not true. And you'll see that when you plug in A, which is -1, you're going to get -3 minus 5 is -8. And is that greater than or equal to 4 times -1 is -4, minus 7 is -7. Well, realize that -8 is actually less than -7. It's not greater than or equal to -7, which is why A is going to be the answer that makes it not true. Let's do question 18. Question 18 looks a little complicated. Y is less than -x plus A, and y is greater than x plus B. Okay, I have no idea what that means, but let's keep reading. In the xy plane, if the point 0, 0 is the solution to the system of inequalities above, which of the following relationships between A and B must be true? Well, to make this entire thing easier to understand, because I have no idea what's going on, they told us a point. So let's just plug that in, the point 0, 0. So y is less than -x plus A is going to be 0 is less than -x plus A. -x is -0, -0 is still 0. So you just have 0 is less than A when you plug in the point 0, 0. Similarly, in the bottom, you're just going to have 0 is greater than B. So to realize what this is saying, if 0 is less than A, that means A is a positive number. I really can't write with this touchpad. I should probably learn how to write on the touchpad before I make videos. 0 is less than A, it has to be positive. Let's just write a plus. 0 is greater than B, that means B has to be negative. Looking at your 4 choices, B, C, and D, you'll see doesn't really make sense, but A is greater than B. Well, that sure is true because A has to be positive and B has to be negative. All right, so this has been plugging in, and hopefully you'll see that this is a very, very easy and quick way to get answers right very quickly on the SAT.